Hey YouTube, how you going? Just wanted to do a video to cover what happens after the event. So kind of like post-race recovery from World's Toughest Mudder. Obviously, the main things are going to be to rehydrate, to get a good meal into you, and to rest. They're obviously kind of stock standard things that everyone knows that you should do just to kind of bring your body back down to a normal state, let it repair itself after the 24 hours of strenuous activity, rejuvenate, everything like that. So on that front, last year I did make the mistake of only booking one night, the Sunday night in the accommodation after the event. I reckon it definitely would have been better to do 2 nights, and we kind of got caught out because we had to return our hire car fairly early, so I didn't get a very long night's sleep that night. That's all the stock standard stuff though. But I'm not a big fan of kind of medicines and drugs and all that kind of stuff. But there are a few things that I would suggest that you look at getting that are going to help you. Recently, in a couple of events actually, there's been cases of people getting quite sick after obstacle races from going through the dirty water, picking up diseases from other people and kind of all kinds of weird stuff. So before I went to World's Toughest Mudder, I did go and see my doctor. This is especially for people travelling from overseas. And I did get an antibiotic that was just a general antibiotic in case I did pick up an infection or something like that. At least I had something in America that I could take. As I said, I'm not really a big fan on medicines and drugs, but it is better to be prepared than kind of find yourself in America and you fall sick 1 or 2 days later because you picked up something, and then you got to try and find a doctor and all that stuff. So I'd recommend that. On a more basic front, there's a couple of things that I bought along with me just to kind of help clear up my body and everything like that. First one is hand sanitizer. I had this in the tent anyway, especially between laps. If you wanted to eat food and you took your gloves off and your hands were all dirty and muddy and that, it does help clean them up. Also, if you get, like a cut or something like that, for example, I taped my knees on lap 3 and it ended up being a big mistake because I taped them with a strapping tape that was a little bit too thick and rough, and it ended up cutting into my legs. So on lap 4, I then had to cut it off. Obviously, if your hands are all muddy and dirty and that, and you're all cut up, maybe it is best to wash them. But following the event, again, this stuff was all in my tent, but I mainly used afterwards some Clear Eyes, some eye drops essentially, just to kind of clear any mud and guck out of your eyes. Definitely thought that was worth kind of taking along. Nose drops as well, just a saline. These ones were saline and eucalyptus. You'd be surprised how much shit gets stuck up your nose after 24 hours. So just to help prevent, any type of infection or any type of foreign body, dirt, mud, shit getting stuck up there, I just kind of used this, and because it was only saline, it didn't have any drugs or chemicals or anything like that in there. You could do it a couple of times throughout the day just until you did find that your nose was fully clear. Probably took about 2.5 days to get all the stuff out there. More basic front, just some kind of chapstick or like lip care, because if you're out running and it is a windy day or windy during that 24 hours, your lips can get quite cracked and everything like that. Sports tape, so this is KT tape. I do find KT tape was very beneficial for me last year where I had a lot of injuries. I originally had this on during the race under my wetsuit, but it doesn't cope well with too much water, so that's why I then decided to use a thicker strapping tape that also didn't work for other reasons, as I said, kind of cutting into my legs. But I think, after the event, after you've washed and dried off and that, if you do have some niggling injuries and that and you want to support it, I definitely recommend, using some type of tape like KT tape, rock tape, that kind of thing. So they're just a few little bits and pieces that I kind of chucked in my bag to make sure I had to get on top of things. You might never need the eye drops, you might never need the nose spray, but it's worth at least using them, that morning of, just to make sure you kind of all cleared out, and then hopefully you don't have any problems. As I said, same with the kind of antibiotics there, just as a precaution, a bit of a backup, and you hope everything goes well and you don't need to use it. But that's just how I'd kind of recover in that initial 24 to 48 hours after the event. If you have any other ideas or suggestions, comment below, and thanks for watching. Talk soon.